My wife's movie club watched Moonrise Kingdom. Moonrise Kingdom was directed by Wes Anderson, and his style of movie making is very evident. He moves the camera from scene to scene like turning a page in a children's book. The film starts with an orchestra being deconstructed. The music is played, the parts are played separately, and then they're put back together and played again, hopefully with a greater enjoyment and appreciation of the song. This is an invitation to us on how to watch this film. So let's dive in. First, let's see the film altogether. The narrator shows the island and tells us a storm is coming, and the main character is dressed as a khaki scout. This introduces us to the theme of the movie. A storm is coming. Are you prepared? The storm is well documented, so it is not new, and this is a well-documented storm, and you already know the impact and aftermath of the storm. Change is coming. Destructive forces are on the horizon. Now, let's view the different parts. The film has several observable challenges, precarious situations, and unstoppable circumstances. These are coupled with a variety of personal problems, deficiencies, character flaws, children attempting to act like adults, and adults still struggling with everyday life. When the storm hits, there is bound to be some destruction. Scoutmaster Ward, he doesn't know the situation of his scouts. He has no control over them. He is fired from his position. He's rejected. He's wrongfully judged. And his idolized hero does not live up to his expectations. Captain Sharp, he is having an affair with a married woman. He's lonely and has limitations on his intelligence. Walt Bishop knows his relationship with his wife and family are not going well. His wife has hurt him, and he is not fulfilling his part of the relationship. He wants to disappear, and he feels he is not enough, and that they would be better off without him. One of his children has run away. He is horrified at what might be happening to her, and frustrated that no one is controlling the situation. Laura Bishop is cheating on her husband. She becomes aware that even her own children know that she is unfaithful. Her family is affected, and she has very little advice to give to her runaway daughter. Sam is an orphan, a foster child, and a misfit who doesn't even know his foster family has given up on him. He doesn't fit in and has not been treated correctly by his peers. Overall, we see the different parts of this movie. We see rejection, we see loneliness, estrangement, failing expectations, risky behaviors, and unneeded conflict with others. Childish expectations of growing up, of marriage, and of belonging. We also get a glimpse of tyrannical social services taking away others' ability to control their own situations and how they are judged without full understanding. Social services pronounces them the most incompetent. Captain Sharp kind of summarizes all these different events by saying, even smart kids stick their fingers in electrical sockets sometimes. It takes time to figure things out. It's been proven by history all mankind makes mistakes. Now let's put all the pieces back together. The storm is well documented. It is a certainty. Moonrise Kingdom is the beach area that was obtained by following an old Indian trail. It becomes a symbol for growing up in a world that does not accept them and wasn't always the fairy tale perfect world. The kingdom is forever changed when the storm came and changed the landscape forever. The storm stirred things up and forced a response. On this little island, the storm caused some destruction and flooding, even changed the landscape. But it also blessed and fertilized the land with following prosperity. The khaki troop realizes they did wrong in the treatment of Sam. They changed their ways. The lawyers, Walt and Laura Bishop, commit themselves to do better as a family. They give up the extra and conflicting relationships. The cop, the captain, gains a new purpose in his life, a new family setting. Sam and Susie gain lifelong friends. Sam gains an adopted father. They both gain understanding, experience, and more. The film has a sweet ending, where we feel everyone is better off for the experience. The film contains a lot of interesting dialogue and ideas. Here are a few to watch out for. Scoutmaster Ward focuses on details about the uniform but overlooks an open flame. So it seems like a message that he's immature and he's missing the big picture. He has the wrong focus. Susie reads fairy tales. We love to hear the stories that help us escape and into a place where we can imagine that we are there. This escapism, which makes us forget our reality, may not be preparing us or Susie for any storm. It may be a coping mechanism or a way to process the world, but it does not root us in reality and may fill one's head with unrealistic expectations, which later we may misjudge the world by. This is shown in one of my favorite exchanges.
I always wish I was an orphan. Most of my favorite characters are. I think your lives are more special.
I love you, but you don't know what you're talking about.
I love you too.
Redford leads the scouts into ostracizing Sam. Later, when he is asked why he doesn't like Sam, his response is, "Why should I? No one else does." Redford is a bad influence on the group. He shows how one person can make a difference. But in this case, it's not for the better. Later, when he's replaced, the scouts turn good. Mr. Bishop yells at Scoutmaster Ward, "Why can't you control your scouts?" He probably knows he is responsible for Susie just as much as the Scoutmaster is for the scouts, but he also feels like he's failed his daughter. So in his helplessness, he starts to play the blame game. Again, these are things to watch out for. Losing sight of the big picture, avoiding reality or escapism, personal biases leading you to do harm to others or trying to do harm to others, and finally blaming others. There are some positive things that we can see in this film as well. Scoutmaster Ward notices Sam's campsite and takes the time to tell Sam it was commendable. This is saying stay positive. Success is more motivational than fear or failure. The adults protest against the nameless social services, and Captain Sharp goes out on a danger sled to hold on to Susie and Sam in the storm. This teaches me that decisions should be made by the people affected, not from an interventionist expert who is not impacted by the decision. Cousin Ben agrees to marry Rosie and Sam, and he explains it will not be legally binding in any way, but the ritual has significance as a moral weight to the heart and the mind. To me, this is saying we should live according to our conscience or our moral center. It will give us order, meaning, and balance in this chaotic, stormy world. Rosie tells Sam about her binoculars and says, "It helps me to see things closer even if they're not very far away. I pretend it's my magic power." To me, this is saying that analysis and understanding can be enhanced with keen observation. The storm can stir things up for the better. They get us to focus on what's important, allow us to grow in ways that we had not seen before. Just like the crops after the storm produced great in abundance, we feel like everyone is in a better place by being shook up in this film. In conclusion, the destruction and change has been for the better. This may not be a reality for all circumstances, but the message of the film is positive, and it reminds us that the destruction of the storm allows us to let go of our old failures, mistakes, false expectations, etc., and rebuild. This time without the precarious and unstable structure we had before. We don't need a new storm if we can see the change is needed and have the courage to tear down the old and replace it with a new, sure foundation that can withstand the upcoming storms. The question is, are you prepared, and how will you prepare for the upcoming storms? The movie suggests that we might all focus on building relationships, being true in all circumstances, acting with a moral center, focusing on what we can do, and staying positive. I enjoyed watching Moonrise Kingdom. It's probably my favorite Wes Anderson film. What did you think? And as always, thanks for watching.
Any questions? Lazy eye.
What's your real job, sir?
I'm a math teacher. Why?
What grade?
8th?
You need PhD for that?
Lazy eye? No. But you know what? We're actually in the middle of something here in case you didn't notice. One of our scouts is missing, and that's a crisis. Anybody else? Redford.
What if he resists?
Who?
Shikuski. Are we allowed to use force on him?
No, you're not. This is a non-violent rescue operation. Your mission is to find him, not to hurt him under any circumstances. Am I making myself understood? Good. I'm gonna change my answer, in fact. This is my real job. Scoutmaster, Troop 55. A math teacher on the side.